KFI AM 640. You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly. On demand on the iHeartRadio app.
Sometimes Foosh just plays music, I just sing, and then he says, "Oh, hey, dope, we're on the air." And I think, I should have been paid for that then. Yep.
I'm trying to make it like Club Merrill up in here.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Club Merrill.
Yeah, Club Merrill. Oh, very good. Ron, are you in? Club Merrill.
Of course. How could I not be?
Cheap drinks. We close early. Gotta get to bed. Club Merrill.
Close at 1:45.
You don't want to bring a black light into Club Merrill.
No. Oh, God. No. God. Why would you ever do that? Yeah.
Foosh, you're just hanging me out to dry with these. Thank you.
Took me a minute. I was running Club Merrill. Like, gotta give me.
No, it's okay. We'll regroup.
Yeah. It's going swimmingly so far, fellas.
Yeah, it's a holiday. Nobody's listening.
How about 2025 is just like 2024. It's trying to take us all. It's already starting out about as stressful as possible with at least one probable terror attack, maybe two to start. We were just a few hours in when the first terror attack of the year hits in NOLA. The latest 15 people dead in that attack, dozens more injured. Somebody drove a car through a crowd of people in New Orleans at 3:15 in the morning, and if there's one town that has a lot of stuff going on at 3:15 in the morning, it's going to be New Orleans. So what a crap start to the year. What a crap start. Meanwhile, anything that you guys are planning on this year? Now, I'm not talking about New Year's resolutions. Just things that you're planning. Anybody going to do any travel? Anybody going to take in the sights, the sounds, anything of that sort? My New Year's resolution was I'm gonna be better on the clock. I'm gonna go to the commercial breaks when I'm supposed to instead of Foosh having to tell me. He's only had to tell me one time so far tonight. Break, idiot. Go to the commercials, idiot. Which I appreciate him doing. Ronner, anything? Anything?
As far as travel, not really.
Just anything at all?
No, I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to go to Vasquez Rocks and reenact the scene from Star Trek where Kirk throws the rock at the Gorn. That's what I want to do.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, that's very good. Very good. What do I ask?
It's concrete. It's specific.
What do I even ask you?
No, it's for real. I'm not making this up.
No, I know you're not. But that's what a weird. Let's go to Imperial County and let's comb the sand like they did in Star Wars.
I'm immune to your mockery. This is going to be cool.
How about you, Chris?
I'm going to make some maple syrup this year. I'm going to tap a tree and I'm going to make syrup. What do you think about that?
Nice.
Yeah. Done this in the past. Is
it going to be like, are you going to brand it like Merrill KFI syrup?
Yeah, I mean, if they pay me, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think you should tap it more in 2025.
Absolutely. More tapping it in 2025.
Hey, now.
Very good.
Now it's working. Now we've got a well-oiled machine here.
He got the drum kit out. That's nice. Yeah. He had put it away for a while.
I forgot Chris isn't like that.
We're not going to need that. Merrill, we just... Oh, tapping it. Very good. Very timely, my friend. Very timely. All over it. Guys are killing me. All right, how about Bucket List 2025?
My freshman philosophy professor signed this exercise and called it a bucket list. We were supposed to make a list of all the things we wanted to do in our lives before we
kick the bucket. Cutesy.
It's pointless now.
We could do this. We should do this.
We should do this. All right, ever since the bucket list came out, we all know what bucket list means. It's just, bucket list is almost taken on a new term. It's not things that we feel like we need to do before we die. Now it's just stuff you should try this year.
Yeah, it's definitely taken a turn.
It's no longer a bucket list. Now it's a to-do list or a give it a shot list. And so that's what the LA Times put together their California bucket list. Okay. For each month of the year. So I guess if a bucket list is things to do before you die, if you plan on dying in January, you should go witness the majestic elephant seal breeding season at Año Nuevo State Park, which isn't Año Nuevo, isn't that New Year State Park? I don't speak Spanish.
They want you to go and watch elephant seals get it on?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Mark, you already said more tapping it in 2025.
I don't want to watch wild animals tap it with each other.
But you're tapping it.
Tapping it.
Whose side are you on?
That's right. Just tap it.
You said you wanted to
Just give it a little tappy tap.
little tap taparoo.
Little taparoo there.
If we have to rewind the tape, I want Chris Merrill to tap it more in 2025.
Ayo.
Wow. All right. I'll go watch the animals do it. I got no problem with that. If you plan on dying in February, according to the LA Times, you should celebrate the Lunar New Year in San Francisco and Chinatown. So you got that. If you plan on kicking it before taxes are due, you could do it in March. You could admire the breathtaking wildflower blooms of the Enza Borrego Desert State Park. While you're there, you could comb the desert just like they did in Star Wars. In April, attend the world-renowned Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival in India. Oh, that's a good thing.
Coachella. I've never heard of Coachella.
You been to Coachella? Have you done it? I don't mean like have you been to the valley. I mean have you been to the festival?
When I was in college, I was in Riverside, so I was like 20 minutes away from it.
Yeah,
but I don't know, man. It just seems so overhyped because I talked to people like 10 years before it was like a thing, and they said it was like the greatest thing ever. But this was like when you paid $20 to get in.
Oh yeah, now it's like now a ton.
You basically put in a car down payment for a car.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, but you can get a 3-day pass for just $700.
Yep.
That's a little high, but was Coachella the one last year where they had all the mud and people were stuck and they couldn't get cars out and people were walking miles and miles and miles just to get out of the. Was that Coachella?
I think that was Burning Man.
Oh, it was Burning Man. All right,
same area.
They're both they're both super hippie music fests, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, I think Burning Man is still hippie, but now Coachella is like the cool place to be.
But especially
because now they have 2 weekends. So now it's the first weekend is like the place you have to be there, and the second weekend is for people that just want to listen to the music.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. But I can still spend a buttload of money there, right? That's the whole thing with Coachella.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's I'm supposed to spend a buttload of money there.
Yes.
All right. LA Times California bucket list, which we can only assume means if you plan on dying, you should do this, because that's what bucket lists are. If you plan on dying in May, you should go to the awe-inspiring waterfalls at Yosemite at their peak flow. That is, if we get any moisture this winter. If you're going to die in June, experience the unique ambiance of the Ojai Music Festival, the charming town of Ojai. Another music festival. Who wrote the list for the LA Times? Is this from the hippie desk?
I think this may be another byproduct of their owner, Patrick Soon-Shiong.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
I didn't get a bias rating on this because this feels very lefty to me.
Does it?
Yes. This is going way. Although Coachella, like you said, is no longer, it's a music fest, but it's super commercialized. So I don't know, maybe not. Maybe this is all part of bringing balance. You go to the super commercial music festival, and then you go to the Ojai Music Festival. If you're going to die in July, you should go to the fireworks first over Lake Tahoe. Okay. August, savor the delectable offerings at the Gilroy Garlic Festival, a haven for garlic enthusiasts. Unless you're a vampire. You don't want to go to that if you're the undead. If September is the month you're deciding that you're going to kick it, immerse yourself in the rich cultural heritage at the Los Angeles Olvera Street during the Mexican Independence Day festivities. For October, participate in the Half Moon Bay Art and Pumpkin Festival, celebrating the harvest season. And in November, you can observe the graceful monarch butterfly migration at Natural Bridges State Park in Santa Cruz. Aren't monarchs on the endangered species list now? Or are they still considering that?
It's hard to keep track because it seems like everything's headed in that direction, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're right. And then in December, as always, if you haven't been to Balboa Park in San Diego for their December nights, that's pretty cool. So LA Times recommends you go to that. So that's your 2025. I give you 12 things to do. Here's what I recommend for your New Year's resolution. Be healthier. Experience some things around you. Pick 4 of the 12, and just do 4. That's one every third of the year, and just do one of those things. Make it a date. Put it on your Hinge profile. I don't have any idea. Thank God I don't have to date. Thank God I'm not dating. Thank God I don't have to do the apps.
Oh boy.
Are you on the apps?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, I'm so sorry.
It's I've been talking with producer Matt. Like he's kind of keeping me abreast to what's going on, because it's just like everyone just seems like they have all of their S figured out, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow, and everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna this, and I like hiking, and I like working out, and
those are the worst people.
And I know, and I'm like, I told Matt, I'm like, can anyone just be like, hey, I like to watch reruns under the blankets and just be at home?
Can you imagine Mark Ronner's Hinge profile?
Just leave your money on the dresser like a decent human being. But no, this is going to be good material for 2025, Foosh. Your experiments in the single dating app. I'm looking forward to this. I've never done it, and it sounds absolutely horrifying.
So bad.
You know what it is? I was again, to I keep bringing Matt up, but he's been my guy. But it's like I'm not scared to get out there, but it's like everyone just seems like they're so perfect, and I'm like, dude, can you just like have Cheetos and McDonald's and watch The Office reruns at home?
Right.
No one says that. Everyone's like, I like to hike, I run, I do this, I explore new. I'm like, dude, just can you take a break?
Can we write your profile? Like, do you like cargo shorts?
Yes, I want to see your profile picture.
We can keep all of your stuff in my shorts. Let's go. Need extra popcorn while we sit down and watch reruns of The Office? It's right here in the left thigh.
You're going to score so much this year, Foosh.
Buddy.
Okay.
I got you.
That was okay. That was incredible.
I got you.
My cargo shorts. I'm literally wearing cargo shorts right now. Oh man, okay. 2025 start.
If it's not
Strong
the
start.
dating apps, then it's the other social apps. We'll tell you where people are migrating. That is next.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Hey, shout out to Matt. He did a great job today, by the way.
Oh, dude, he kills it.
He did a great job on today's program. Pleasure being with you. Thank you so much. As we are working on Foosh's dating profile, this is going to be great. I did read something that says your dating profile is supposed to, I don't know what your photo is, Foosh, so it's supposed to be you doing something you enjoy.
So,
yeah.
The first one is a selfie. The second one,
is it a selfie of you doing something? Or
it's
is it
also
just
a selfie. No, the first one's just like I just got my haircut, and it's one of my favorite pictures of myself because I don't like myself. So that's like my favorite picture of my hair. I just got it done. It was cool. And then the second one is me in a suit at my best friend's wedding.
Okay.
So still not doing anything, but looking cool.
We got to get you some doing stuff.
I think so too.
You ought to be able to parlay your job into something. I got a buddy that's in radio and he's on the apps too. And I said, why aren't you? He hosts a show, and I go, why aren't you telling everybody like you're a rock star? And he goes, because no, but I don't want to do that. I go, listen, all's fair in love and war. You got to lean into it.
That's exactly what producer Matt just said. He's like, dude, you should like boast about the fact that you're at iHeart. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I don't want to be like that guy.
Like, hey, have you heard of Tim Conway Jr.? I know him. Yes. You should do that. Maybe pictures. Next time Leno comes in, just go see if you can sit in his car and take a photo with him.
Oh yeah. If I got a picture with him, that would be the one to put on my profile.
Jason's
there's a real panty dropper, isn't it?
Come on.
I think the two of you are massively overestimating the appeal of the stable and lucrative career in radio.
AM radio.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say AM.
Why don't you just post a photo of yourself on the toilet, Foosh? Come on.
Doing something I love.
Yes, exactly.
This
is how I like to spend my leisure time.
Very good.
Bring an iPad in with you, some snacks.
Hey, speaking of apps, have you guys been on Twitter lately?
Yes.
It has turned into a real...
It is just like so it's a war zone. I don't even like to go on there.
It's a hive of disinformation and hate. Did I miss something?
No, I mean, I'll be kind of doom scrolling a little bit, and then I've found myself using the Instagram Reels, which I hate doing because it's kind of like TikTok, which just drives me nuts. And I want to see something that has a little more depth than somebody doing a goofy dance or whatever. But so I'll go on to Twitter thinking I can I'll just read somebody's thoughts. But even things that seem innocuous, I can't even. Somebody might post something like, "Hey, what was the best thing that happened to you in 2024?" And it's just like, watching Joe Biden nearly die on stage made my day.
I was gonna say, oh yeah, because Trump did this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You can't even have fun on there anymore.
Well, it's been especially useful today when we have this massive casualty incident in New Orleans, and the amount of disinformation and just filth on there is overwhelming. And thank you, Elon, for that. Appreciate the effort.
Yeah.
Money well spent.
I mean, I understand what he's saying about we should have an open forum and people should say what they want, but the trouble is that you have an opportunity to raise your clout. In the past, if somebody said something that was ludicrous, they wouldn't see the light of day, right? We would filter it out. If somebody had something to say, that person would start to sort of rise to the top. They might become an expert. They might end up on a panel. If they had some knowledge, if they had some depth of thought, if they could articulate things very well, they might, rise, and then it might be invited onto a radio panel or television or something of that sort. But now it's just everyone has the same voice unless they pay their, whatever it is, $8 a month or whatever, and then their voice is amplified. And it's distributed in the same manner as everyone who actually has depth of thought, which is why some people are going to the other outlets, the Threads and the Blue Sky, and the two texts from Engadget, the two text-based platforms sharing some of the same goals, none of the same tactics for getting there. Meta, controlled by Mark Zuckerberg, embracing the public conversation, but also encouraging certain types of speech over others, they say. The company throttling political content in an election year, forcing users to tweak their settings to enable posts about elections or social topics to appear in their For You feed. Okay? So Meta is basically saying, we don't want all the angst that permeates around these conversations of the left-right paradigm. So it's very much, Meta is going to say, this is what we want things to look like, and if you deviate too far from that, we're going to tamp your voice down. Blue Sky is more of a user-based, user-centric, decentralized, I suppose, a platform. If you're unfamiliar, Blue Sky came onto the scene after Elon Musk bought Twitter. So Blue Sky is very decentralized, which also can lead to the whole free-for-all type scenario. And what are they calling it? It's a less of a top-down approach. The company employs some of its own moderators to enforce baseline moderation. Users have a lot of control over how much questionable or harmful content they want to see. Blue Sky also allows people to create their own moderation services for an even more custom experience. They say moderation is in many ways like governance, according to the CEO, Jay Graber, Graber. And setting the norms of social space, we don't think one person or one company should be unilaterally deciding that for an entire ecosystem where people are having public conversations important to the state of the world. So basically, it's like the free-for-all that Elon Musk says Twitter should be, although they allow you to tailor it so you don't have to see everybody's garbage constantly. Ultimately, doesn't this all come down to what algorithms are being employed? And that's the kicker. It's all about whatever the app is. I don't care if it's a dating app. I don't care if it's a social media app. I don't care if it's your news curation app. It's all about figuring out how to manipulate the algorithm. And you know who else is trying to figure out how to manipulate the algorithm? The content creators. The people posting things are all trying to manipulate the algorithm so that you'll click on their crap. Because every click turns into a little cashola on their end. Anyway, hopefully 2025 turns into less of a cesspool online, but I do not believe it will. Which is why I have taken, you know how I figured out how to manipulate the algorithms? A lot of puppy videos. Every time I see some, who does a good job on this one is Tim Conway Jr. He posts a lot of, the puppies, the cats, the goofy stuff like that. I love the videos he puts up on there. And I watch those, and I will heart those, and then I get more of that stuff. And it just makes me feel happy inside. I know it's a little Pollyanna-like. I know I turned into a bit of a 12-year-old girl just watching puppies playing. But I got to tell you, my mental health is so much better than reading somebody else talk about how much they hate something.
But it's so true because I'll see stuff like that, and my thing is cars. So I'll look up certain models and makes, and once I start hearting them, commenting, that's all I get. And I'm like, that's much better than hearing about politics.
Yes. Far more interesting, too.
Yeah.
Frankly. Yeah.
Especially if it's something you're actually invested in,
I agree. How much are you investing in cars? Oh, you mean your time?
Yeah. Yeah, time. I don't have money to invest in cars yet.
Again, you got to start hanging out with Jay. And it's going to change your whole life. I'm telling you.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
The lawmakers, the lawbreakers, and the times that there ought to be a law. I like that we're able to touch on the Slowjamistan because Slowjamistan is in the news. Are you familiar with Slowjamistan? It's a micronation in California. They declared their sovereignty, I think, like about a year ago. And according to a release from the Republic of Slowjamistan, which is not officially recognized by the United States or any other nation of peoples, but it's actually just a small community near Ocotillo Wells in San Diego County. According to the Republic of Slowjamistan, they're offering a $1,000 reward to anyone who can help bring justice to a group of fathers and their children who apparently burglarized and vandalized the property. KTLA reporting on this. They put out the video as well, video of the surveillance footage. Slowjamistan released it, posted it to YouTube. Timestamp says it was December 14th, about an hour. 2 men, 3 children. Seen and heard moving about the property's border gate. So basically, they bought a bunch of land and they said, "We are sovereign," and it's Slowjamistan. It's a wonderfully creative little a play of nonsense going on there, and I love it. They ran around the property, talked about vandalizing and burglarizing the property. Then they started spray painting things. So somebody got on one of those cameras. I don't know if it's like a Ring. Oh, it's a Reolink camera. So similar to the Ring cameras. Reolink is a different company. And so they said, "Hey, you're on camera, dopes." And when the camera started talking to them, they went, "Uh-oh." The group appeared to get nervous, except for one of the children who remarked, "If I'm being recorded, then I'm saying, 'Sup, bro?'" And another young voice saying, "We need to break in, okay? We need to break in." Okay. All right. So then they were trying to figure out what was going on. And so they stepped out of frame. And then one of the guys said, "Hey, man, it's fake. It's just fake. So if you don't, it's probably motion detected. So if you don't move, it'll just shut off." Okay. You dopes. So anyway, I guess these guys, got worried that they were going to get caught. And they were like, "Hey, man, you're freaking out my kids," and all this other stuff. So then they started spray painting things. They started spray painting, "We declare war." And then they encouraged people to visit surfingruinedmylife.com. Surfingruinedmylife.com. So if you search for Surfing Ruined My Life website, you are then directed to an online store called My Daddy Makes Art, which sells clothes that say MD. Oh, you got it, didn't you? You got the joke. My Daddy Makes Art. It's clothes that say MDMA.
Daddy Makes Art.
Yeah, MDMA.
Jesus.
And rainbow lettering.
God.
There's an Instagram page as well for surfingruinedmylife.com that has in their bio, "We declare war on Slowjamistan." So if not for the fact that there's actual vandalism going on here, I kind of love that Slowjamistan is facing a threat from an outside non-nation as well. But I don't like the fact that there's vandalism. I certainly don't like the fact that we have guys taking their kids out to commit vandalism. The Sultan of Slowjamistan put a statement out to KTLA and said, I love this whole story. It's not the damage that upsets us as much as that there's a guy bringing his young kids to join in on the crime. Even the kids are saying, Dad, it's not a good idea. Yet the reckless adult male coerces the children to break the law. You feel the worst for the kids in the situation. We hope he is caught and someone can intervene before it's too late for those poor kids. They deserve better. I agree wholeheartedly. I don't really care for any of the vandalism that goes on. You know what? Maybe we just send a clear message. Find out who this was, which shouldn't be too hard because you're just going to go to the MDMA clothing website, My Daddy Makes Art, and then you're going to be able to track that and figure out who it was. I get the feeling this investigation should not take too long. And then arrest the children. Take the children away. Punish the children. Punish them hard. That's how you send the message. Punishing dads doesn't do any good here. You got to send a message. You got to be clear on that message. That message is we will not tolerate crime. We will definitely punish your children harder. So, you want to get things done, you got to threaten the kids. Speaking of crime, I love this. We had a little bit of an issue with CHP. CHP stopped the Rolls Royce, and what they found inside, I don't think anybody could have guessed. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say you did not have this on your bingo card. That's the new cool phrase people keep saying on TikTok. Not on your bingo card. Here we go from ABC 7.
What started with a traffic stop ended with a CHP officer holding a baby spider monkey. The officer pulled over a Rolls Royce for speeding in Madera County, north of Fresno. Inside the car, the officer found bags of marijuana and a monkey.
That's pretty great.
Believed to be just 1 month old. The driver was booked on suspicion of DUI, possession of cannabis and for sale, and the illegal possession of an exotic animal. The monkey, an innocent victim in all this, has been turned over to animal control.
What's going to happen to the spider monkey? Does the baby spider monkey go to a spider monkey zoo, or do they try to set it free? What do they do with the spider monkey? Does it go to one of those sheriff's auctions? That'd be pretty cool. I'd get a license so I could have a pet spider monkey. I mean, I'm down. Also, when was the last time you heard the phrase spider monkey? Didn't they say that in a Will Ferrell movie? Wasn't that like Talladega Nights or something where they mentioned spider monkeys? I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey. Otherwise, nobody talks about spider monkeys anymore, which is a real tragedy. Probably the most underappreciated of the fun animals that are out there. Sometimes you fight the law, and then the law wins. I'll tell you what the lawmakers are doing with that as the law won next.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Good news, the long national nightmare is over, and Mo Kelly returns tomorrow night. You guys ever do any little home projects? Mark, you a handy guy? You the kind of guy that just, I believe that I should change this outlet.
Not the least bit. If somebody held a gun to my head, I couldn't do any of that.
You don't
stuff.
do that, huh?
None of it.
What do you do if you've got something like, I don't know, let's say that your sink is leaking. What do you do?
I call a sink leak specialist.
Oh, okay.
And I pay that person to fix the leak.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Do you ever use a handyman? Or do you just call a plumber? If it's a sink, I'm calling a plumber.
If it's whoever Yelp recommends, that's.
Okay.
I'm very good with the Yelp. Very handy with Yelp.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good. So I make the mistake of trying to do it myself first. And then once I'm about $300 in and it's worse, then I call somebody else. True story. A friend of mine says, I got a small leak in my sink. And I said, oh, I can take care of that. And he says, yeah, it's coming from down below. And I said, that's easy. We can take care of that. We just have to replace this and that. And I knew what I was talking about. The problem is I got there and I started working on it. And when I got done, he had a big leak. And then he had to call somebody else. I had another buddy that, this was years ago. He says, man, I need new brakes on my on my old truck. We were early in radio, and radio didn't pay a whole lot, especially when you're starting out. So he says, I need new brakes. And I said, I think we can do this. This is before the days of YouTube. So we couldn't just YouTube it. So we were looking up the old Chilton's manuals, or the Haynes manuals, I guess. And so we spent the $17 on the Haynes manual for his old Bronco. And we were like, well, let's fix the brakes. And so we spent $600 on the brakes and the tools and everything else that we would need. And we got done. We put it all back together, and he drove off, and there was this big clacking sound. He drove it down the runway. Clack, clack, clack. And he said, man, we worked too hard on this. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to take it to a mechanic. $600 more later, we found out we put a bushing on backwards.
Oops.
Yeah. So the point is that I love to take on projects. I'm just bad at them. And which is why, probably if you have any doubt at all, you should call somebody else first. Good news. In California, you can now hire a handyman without a contractor license for anything that's under $1,000. It used to be only $500. I didn't realize that handymen weren't allowed to do anything that was more than $500. $1,000 seems low to me. You can cook through $1,000 very, very quickly. But the new law goes into effect now. This is one of the new California laws. Goes into effect, and if you're like me and you say, you know what, I'm gonna replace the lights in my kitchen with LEDs. Here's another one that I did. And I found these LEDs, but they were the wrong size. So I just had to cut the ceiling out to put the new LED can lights in. So I did that. And you could definitely tell where I cut the ceiling out from that point forward. It didn't look terrible because it was above your head and nobody noticed. But for the most part, I give it a go, but it never turns out quite 100%. You realize that project, I replaced 6 lights in my kitchen. They were can lights, recessed lighting is what they would call this. And I replaced those. You realize that if I'd have paid somebody to do that, because you did have to, there was ceiling cutting and a little bit of rewiring. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say it probably would have been $1,200 to $1,500 to have somebody else come in and do it. By the time you're into the parts, the labor, the painting, the taping, the texturing, everything else you had to do, about $1,500. You can cruise through $1,000 with a handyman really, really fast. If a handyman is doing a job that's worth more than $1,000, if they provide a bid greater than $1,000, according to the new law, performing work requiring a permit or employing any workers, that person is subject to legal action. Penalties for unlicensed contracting include administrative fines up to $15,000, jail sentences up to 6 months, and fines of up to $5,000. Repeat offenders could end up with a 90-day jail sentence. So this is obviously put into place to stop those fly-by-night scammy roofers. You know, those guys, you'll have a storm come through. You've heard these stories before, right? Storm comes through, tears up somebody's shingles, and they hire some fly-by-night guy that goes, hey, I can take care of that for you. And then they stiff them or they do a crap job, whatever else it is, right? This is obviously meant to try to stop those people. I think it actually just limits people like Mark, who would be smart and call somebody in the first place if their review is on Yelp, or me, who has to call somebody to come fix my screw-up. Because I'm telling you, $1,000, you can shoot through that in no time.
I love the idea of threatening handymen with prison because if you have the neighborhood app, about 50% of the content, first of all, one half of the content is complaints about homeless people. The other 50% is complaints about handymen who screw people over and who don't finish the job who do a terrible job. So throw them in the Gray Bar Hotel.
Yep, throw them in. Just put them in there.
Send them to the big house if they screw up.
But those are the people those are the shady contractors that need to be busted down anyway. If you're just a regular, if you're a handyman in Fontana and you're just trying to scrape by, doing what you do well, you work with your hands well, I'm telling you, $1,000 jobs, there is a way around this, I believe. And I genuinely believe what you do, if you're a handyman, you're trying to get around this law, is that you break a project into multiple small projects. So let's suppose that I told you I replaced the lights in my kitchen. I believe there were 5 or 6 lights, there was a 4-inch can that was in there, and I was putting a 6-inch can in. Okay, do you know what I'm talking about when I say a can? Is that clear enough? Or
I'm resisting every impulse I have to make it into something filthy. Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Okay,
just have him do 1 can a month.
All he has to do is say, light fixture replacement.
That's what she said.
$300. And then light fixture replacement number 2, $300. Number 3, $300. You know what I mean? It feels like there's an easy way around this thing by just simply filling out multiple work orders.
Yeah, and I don't think it could be like banks where they monitor if you have a deposit that's too big or a suspicious series of deposits.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's doing any kind of oversight on this. So you could probably skirt the rules on this if you had a will to.
It would have to be because somebody's complaining about you, wouldn't it? Like this feels like an enhancement law. So that if somebody's complaining, not just on Nextdoor, but on whatever else, right, if they actually file a complaint, then it feels like, okay, you're a shady contractor, and here's the law that you broke. We wrote this law out so that we could bust somebody for doing it. Otherwise, you're right. Who's going to... Because if you write me an estimate for $1,500, I'm not ratting you out.
If someone
if you do the
starts
job
a
well.
Reddit page about the job you did, then maybe you're in trouble.
Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's one of the new laws going into effect here in the coming year. So look for that. I just think it's one of those laws, again, that is going to affect so few people. It doesn't seem like, I don't know. I just feel like that number should be closer to 2,000 or 2,500, but I suppose that the way around it is so incredibly simple that the only way you're going to get busted is if you really upset the homeowner. There's no business like show business. We'll tell you who's in trouble for their New Year's Eve celebrations on the TV. That is next. I'm Chris Merrill, in for Mo Kelly. KFI, AM 640. We're live everywhere. The iHeart Radio app.
You've been listening to Later with Mo Kelly. You can always hear us live on KFI AM 640, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Monday through Friday, and anytime on demand on the iHeart Radio app.